Welcome to TFN Smart Trading Action Alert. I'm Laura Cadden. It's starting to look like the forecasters got it wrong for the second year straight. This hurricane season may well be wrapping up again without affecting U.S. oil and gas production. And there has been no international crises to threaten oil supplies, apart from the usual candidates, that is. Yet oil prices have reached new records, and when it comes to oil prices, the American consumer is a far more reliable indicator than weather forecasts. Every year, cyclical demand for oil and gas soars as temperatures drop in the United States and consumers and power providers increase their consumption of oil, natural gas, and coal to heat homes and offices. High energy and resource prices have once again made it possible for alternative energy, cogeneration, and power storage technology to become financially viable. Much like the booming demand for commodities has resulted in the reopening of hundreds of mines that had been abandoned back in preceding cyclical price busts. Smart traders not only can leverage the cyclical upswing in resource energy prices, but also speculate on the resulting price moves in companies that offer technologies aimed at increasing usage and profit margins. My guest today is Christian DeHamer, lead editor of Red Zone Profits, who has been following one specific promising technology for a while now. So, Chris, briefly describe for us, if you will, this technology and what it was about it that you really found so promising.
Well, the great thing about this technology is it stores electricity from the power grid and sells it back to that same power grid at a later date. What you might not know is that you can buy electricity from the grid in the middle of the night, say 3 in the morning, at about a 25% less expensive rate than you could sell it back to that same grid at say 5 in the afternoon. And so what this technology does is it will take power from the grid and hold it and then sell it back to that same grid. It's fantastic.
So it actually kind of stores it for you?
Yes, I mean, it's a mechanical system, but and it works much like an anniversary clock, or say you have a Toyota Prius, right? Toyota Prius uses a battery. So when the Toyota Prius hits the brakes, the energy from the wheels and the brakes goes to the battery, recharge the battery, so when you start up again, the energy comes from the battery to the engine and the car moves. This also works in big electric locomotives. It works in your wristwatches. It's been around for about 3,000 years. But this company I've discovered, which is a $1.80 company, has taken the same basic technology and ramped it up to the size and scale that'll make it work on the national grid. I mean, it's just amazing.
Now, reading the information you've written about this company, you use phrases such as scalable to establish energy matrices. Explain to me what you mean.
Well, that's right. Well, the deal is they just went from a small factory where they're building machines big enough to test, and they've tested these with a couple of states. And they just built a new facility, which I believe is 100,000 square feet, which they can build out 10 of these power plants a year. And the first one's slated to be built by April, and they're going to announce where it's going to be within the next 2 weeks.
So what is the benefit to the energy providers? Are we talking billions of dollars?
Oh, well, the market here worldwide, I've seen numbers that I think it was 54 billion. But on the smaller scale, they're starting out. I mean, it's a $100 million company, and they're going to start with one, and they have the new facility in place where they can scale up to 10 a year from just that one facility. And but what it does for the power providers is, first of all, it's green. It doesn't produce CO2s or any other emissions that are anti-environmental. It uses what's already there, because power plants, traditional electric power plants, nuclear, coal, natural gas, whatever, are fired up and they run at a stable rate. They're most efficient when they run at a stable rate. And if there's a slack in demand, they have to shut down a turbine. This costs a lot of money and energy and waste. And what this company does is it'll take off the excess capacity during slack times and give it back during high demand times, peak times. And so what that does is it smooths out the entire grid, so your blackouts that happened in New York in the 7-8 years ago won't happen again, or are less likely to happen, and things of that nature. Like the governor of California, the governor is backing this. People in New York, the federal government, everybody wants this technology to happen, and so the political tailwind is on their side.
So this technology is tested and proven.
This technology is passed in New York regulations, it passed in California regulations. They just went through 2 substantial tests from outside auditors. They announced their second test about 2 weeks ago at 25% of the stock. The next catalyst for stock price appreciation will be where they're going to actually build the plant, which is coming in 2 weeks, as I said.
Oh, so I do recall then this is the technology you had talked about. You actually gave a recommendation for this company some time back.
Yes, I first recommended this company. Well, at Taipan, we've been following this company for about 5 years, and it started out as sort of a post-Katrina story stock, and I made some money then. But now it's gone from the story phase to the actual implementation phase. So this is going to happen now. It's not like it's going to happen in 3 years. It's going to happen in 6 months. And so I bought it first in May after it hit an all-time, well, not an all-time low, but a substantial low. What happens is people buy a story stock. It's momentum, guys. They're just riding the momentum. And then once the story takes too long to pan off, they'll sell it off and go after whatever the next market darling is. But if you can catch these stocks after that wave of selling, you'll find that oftentimes it's coming close to a reality, and the stock's at an all-time low. And so if you could buy it there, I bought it in May, and I made 177% in just a couple of months. I sold that half of that position, and I bought it back here about a month or so ago. It's not too late to get in. This stock could be, you know, your true 10-bagger of the next couple years.
Very interesting. So I often ask my guests to write down the additional information for our viewers to be able to go to the Taipan Financial News website to be able to read more. Can I get that from you?
Oh, sure.
Great. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
We'll post Chris's report on TaipanFinancialNews.com under the Investment Strategies section of the homepage. To learn more about his trading information service, go to www.redzoneprofits.com. Please join us next week for another opportunity for profits on TFN's Smart Trading Action Alert. For Christian DeHamer and Taipan Financial News, I'm Laura Catton.